Hi, George here, and today I'll be showing you how you can use the Replace Color tool to make perfect color changes inside of Photoshop Elements. Now, I know you're wondering why is there a picture of a sheep sitting here in a jacket looking at a laptop. In the past, I've demonstrated this topic using a nice bright colored jacket, so I did a photo search on Pixabay for jacket, and these are some of the things I came up with. I came up with this sheep here in this jacket. I kind of like this one, little AI-generated rabbit. This would actually work, but not really what I want. I also came across this thing right here. It's a jacket, all right, but again, not what I'm going for. What I did find was this picture right here, and we'll use this for our color change. It has a real nice separated color, and we'll also have these earrings in here that work as well. So the first thing we need to do is to download this image from Pixabay. So I'll switch over there and show you where you can find this. And it's right here. I'll put this link in the description so you can just click on that and get right to this page. And then go ahead and download. And I downloaded at the 1920 size. Choose download, and then open that up in Photoshop Elements. Let's go ahead, we'll switch back over there. There we go. Let's just maximize that in the window. Now the first trick, and this is one which I do all the time, but it's very important here, is to go over and on the background, right click and duplicate layer, choose OK. And we'll do our color change on this background copy. That's because the Replace Color tool changes the actual layer, and you want to have a protected layer saved, and that's our background. This time I'm not going to be hiding this, and I'll show you why as we get into this project. Okay, let's go ahead and zoom in just a little bit here to get a better view. There's the jacket like that. And then go up to Enhance, come down to Color, and right here, Replace Color. And that brings up the Replace Color dialog box. It's a floating window, as you can see right here. And the way you use this normally is you take the eyedropper, you click on something in the image that you want to replace, and find a nice mid-tone. So look at your shadows, look at your highlights, see where a mid-tone is. This mid-tone here is mid-tone kind of down here someplace, and click on that mid-tone, and that should grab most of that color for you. And this is where most people get this wrong. They come in, they will then do their shift right now, and if you do that, notice how we have a lot of the old color showing through. So that's not going to be working for us. Let's just set this back to 0 again. What we need to do is to get this as solid white as we can. And there are two tricks to that. The first one is use the eyedropper tool. You can then click in and add in additional colors in here. But we also have to go up here and check this, localized color clusters. That's very important. And that's going to limit what you're adding in to just this area. Otherwise, you'll be getting a lot of stuff elsewhere in the picture. Let me just demonstrate that. I'll come down here, I'll uncheck that. And if I click around in here, you see how I'm getting a lot of the face in there as well. So let's just restart this now and do it properly. Click on Cancel. We'll open that back up again. Replace color right here. And come into a nice mid-tone. And this time we'll select that localized color. Now this won't block that problem completely, but it will certainly help. Then choose the eyedropper tool here, the Add to Sample, and then come in and find an area over here that's gray and not white. Right up here in the lapel area. We'll add that in. There's a little bit of a grayness right in here, which is right about here, I think. Add that in, of course, over here on the side. We'll bring that in. And just watch in here and come in and click into the areas that really aren't working out that well. Now notice up here, all of a sudden, I'm seeing a lot more of that background in here. That's not what I want. So go up here where it says Fuzziness, and back the fuzziness off, and you should be able to get rid of a lot of that stuff. Now, it's not going to be perfect. There's still going to be some things that have to be adjusted and have to be brought in. But we'll just go through here and try to get as much of this as we can. And looking for those areas in here. And work through and just come in here and make this as clean as you can. Trying to get in this last little areas. And then adjust your fuzziness to limit your background again. And you should be able to get a pretty good bright white in your selected area with just a few little areas that may be kind of grayish, and I think we're going to be okay on those. Okay, once you have that done, and once this is as solid white as you can get with as little background as possible, by just balancing everything out. Now come down here to Hue, Saturation, and Lightness. I normally don't recommend using lightness. It tends to flatten out or lower the contrast in your image, either darker or lighter. Saturation sometimes helps for a brighter color, but hue is your main one for changing your color. If I just slide this to the left, there's a nice color change. Go to the right, there's a nice color change. Very easy to do. Now notice as I bring this up, I'm getting a bit of color showing up here underneath the face, and a little bit up in here on the hands, and those are the parts that were showing over here that we didn't quite get. A little bit in the hair up in here. Not too bad though. It's just a matter now of just going through and trying to find a really good match. I think maybe a nice blue, like that kind of a nice light blue. That's a good color for a jacket. Right there, earrings match. That's correct. Everything looks good throughout all of this. It's a little bit off right up in here. I'll use the scroll wheel on my mouse to zoom in. I'll show you how to set that up if you don't have that in just a moment. So if we zoom in, there's still some spots up in here that aren't quite color changed. So we're still on the plus sign. Let's click into those and see if we can get those to add in. It may take a few clicks. There we go. That's looking pretty good. So we solved that. Let's just check over to this side. That all looks good. Now I can try removing some of this stuff with the minus, but it may take away some stuff from the jacket as well. Let's go ahead and we'll give that a try. I think that's pretty good. The problem is you may have something where the coloration in here is matching the coloration elsewhere, and that's where you get that problem. Now notice I have this control up in here, so I cannot use the space bar to move my image around. So I'll use the slider controls. Okay, that's all looking good here. Let's go to the right. Looks good in the hand. That was a problem. I think we're okay there now. Let's just scroll down and take a look at everything else. Just a little bit of that edge showing up in here. And these little areas are sometimes very hard to get, but we'll do our best. That's better. And get some of that right along the edge in here. We'll get some of that pink spill in there. And that's pretty good. It's coming in real tight. You get a pretty good edge on that. A little bit off like that is fine. I'll just zoom back out again here. Now we're getting some blue happening in the hair. And we brought back in some coloration up here. So to get those little thin areas here, that was also giving us more stuff back in the face again. So we'll use a different technique to get rid of that because I do want to get rid of the stuff in here. So that's all good. Our edges are good. The jacket is good. We have a good mask. Let's bring our fuzziness down just a little bit and help just a bit on that. And I think that's about as good as we're going to be getting in here. But that's a real nice mask on that. We can then shift our hue anywhere we want. Even way up in here, it still looks good. So you now have the whole color range to come in and choose from. Now, if we adjust the saturation, that's just more color, more vibrant, less color. I'll leave that at 0. The lightness, as I said, is going to lose a lot of contrast. A little bit of a move in here, real tight in the center, can work, but anything pretty far, you're going to be losing your contrast. So I would keep this no more than +5 or 6, either direction, plus or minus 5 or 6. Okay, here's our color change. Let's now fix the spots up in here. Choose OK. There's before, here's after. Let's now zoom in. Let me show you where that scroll wheel option is. That's up here, Edit. Come down to Preferences and General. And that's the option right here, Zoom with Scroll Wheel. Now I use a gaming mouse for this, and the gaming mouse has a nice scroll wheel on it. I mostly use a gaming mouse because I have better precision on my moves, and here's just a better quality mouse. And it has a programmable button right beneath the thumb, and I have mine set up for saving. So I just click on that and it saves the image. And it's a good idea to save frequently as you're working, and that makes it real fast and easy. I don't have to go up here to the File menu or use Control S or any of those kind of things. It's just that little mouse button. So really nice. I'll put a link for the mouse that I use in the description in case you're curious about that. Okay, let's go ahead and let's fix this hair in here. And for this, we're on our new copy up here. Notice I did change the color on that layer. That's what I mentioned that it would do. Come in and put a layer mask on here. Now, with layer masks, black hides and white shows. So all we have to do is paint black on this layer mask to hide any of these miscolored areas. We'll see the original image through that, and that will solve that problem for us. And I'll change to a standard brush. It's a hard edge. I normally like using a soft edge brush. Let's go ahead, we'll get a soft edge. And that's pretty good. And now we just come in here and paint black right onto the layer mask and hide any of those areas that turn blue that shouldn't have turned blue. Now make sure you don't get into the jacket or those earrings, but everywhere else, just come in and we can paint out that color change that shouldn't have happened. And this just cleans that out. So all we're doing is we're just showing that clean background again that didn't have any of that color mess happen. So let's go through, we'll make this adjustment here, just a little bit of cleanup. As you can see, since I'm just painting on that layer mask and I'm nowhere near that jacket, I can be pretty loose about where my brush strokes go. So this makes it real easy. I'm not having to put in a very careful. Layer mask or anything like that. Okay, I missed it right down here. I'll use Control Z keyboard shortcut to back out of that. Be a little more careful right around that earring. There we go. And then just get the rest of this taken care of. Get that cleaned up right in here. There we are. And get the hand. Check this side over here. And the hair over here again, right around the jacket. Now don't go right up against the edge. You should be fine. If a little bit of color shows through, it's going to be okay. It's not going to be an issue in there. Hold the space bar down. I can use that now that I'm not in that tool any longer. Clean up the last little bit right down through here. There we go. That could come in and mask out her earrings again and leave those with a different color. That might be fun. And that's coming back in again with this same brush. And let's just take out the color from the earrings. I need to be very careful right in here, right against that jacket. So just be real careful on that. Maybe a smaller brush might be a better idea. I use the left square bracket to bring my brush size down so I can come in here and really get into those edges. And we'll just clean out the earrings and give us a nice contrasting color that way. And that'll add some excitement back into the image. If everything is too much the same color, then you begin to lose some interest in the picture. And we'll just come down here, do the same thing on this side. Just get those earrings cleaned out. And I think this is going to look really nice in the final image. Okay, just right along that edge here. Be very careful right down there against the jacket. Keep that clean. Like that. There we go. Control 0 back to fit screen. And I think that's a real nice touch, just changing the coloration on the earrings so they're not just matching the jacket exactly. If you want to learn a lot more about how to use Photoshop Elements, how to use all the different tools, all the menus, all the panels, everything, I have training courses for all of that. You find all of my training courses over on my How To Gurus website. I'll put a link for that right there and also in the description. Real easy, just howtogurus.com. You'll get right there. And while you're there, take a look at my new HTG Photo Coach, which is an interactive help system that will answer all those additional questions you have and give you how-tos and step-by-steps and lists and so forth, things that you may want to have when you're working with video training. Don't forget to give this video a like. That does help my channel out a lot. YouTube loves seeing likes. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do so because I'm doing videos all the time. And I'll see you next time.